Welcome all. Today we'll look into the pseudo instructions that are supported by Cortex M3 and memory barrier instructions and instruction barrier instructions. So you have already learnt about the memory access instructions LDR, that is to load data from the memory to a given register in the instruction, right? So now we'll move on to LDR and ADR as pseudo instructions. So when I say pseudo instructions, they are not real instructions. The assembler, while disassembling, it will convert this pseudo instructions into one or more real instructions. Okay. So the need for these two pseudo instructions arises. Say you must have noticed that we cannot move a 32-bit immediate data in a single instruction. This is because the ARM processors are RISC processors, and hence their instruction length is fixed to 32-bit, right? So you cannot have a immediate data itself as a 32-bit data. That is why we required a couple of instructions, like if you remember, the instructions were move W to move the lower half word and to move the upper half word into the same register. The instruction was move T. So we required the couple of these two instructions to move a 32-bit data into a register. Now that we can overcome using this pseudo instruction, that is LDR. So LDR, the syntax is LDR Rn comma equal to label. So LDR Rn, this is the mnemonic, and Rn is the destination register. Here the syntax will change a little bit. There should be a equal to sign to load an address, and this label or variable corresponds to some identifier. So I will give some identifier or label in the program which whose address will be assigned to the destination register. ADR also does the same thing, but here you don't require the equal to sign. Okay, as an example, so here the address of the memory location or that you are going to load into the register can be of two types. That is, the address may be pointing to a program instruction, or the address may be pointing to a data. Okay, so the address of the memory location may be holding a program instruction or a data. Now why we need to know whether it is pointing to a program or a data is, now suppose if this address 1 is pointing to a program, say some instruction, move instruction or whatever. Okay, so it's holding some instruction. In that case, suppose this address is, say, let me assume it is 1000, then the LDR instruction, when it is loading the address into the destination register, it is automatically going to set the LSB, that is the least significant bit, to 1. That means to the register it will be moving 1001. If the least significant bit is set to 1, then the address will be 1 more than the actual value. Now this is because this is to indicate that it is in the thumb mode. So we know that in the Cortex M3 supports thumb 2 technology. That means it will always be in the thumb mode. Unlike the previous processors, ARM processors which required a explicit change in the state. When they were using ARM instruction, they had to switch to ARM mode, and when they were using thumb instructions, they had to switch to thumb mode. Unlike that, in Cortex M3, the instruction set is always supporting the thumb 2 technology, and hence it will always be in the thumb mode. That is why the address of the memory locations pointing to the program or instructions should be always having that thumb bit as 1. So there is no switching overhead here. So that is why, to indicate that the least significant bit of the addresses will be always 1, okay. So here is an example, LDR R0 comma equal to address 1, and I have some program here, and this is the label address 1. This is the label address 1. So it is holding some instructions, move R0 comma R1. So actually address 1 is 4000 in the program here. But when you use this instruction LDR to load the address of this memory location, that R0 will be set to 4001, as I have just explained here. Okay. Now suppose the memory address label is going to point to a data. See, there is the example here for demonstrating that. Again, I have the same instruction LDR R0 comma equal to address 1. And now here address 1 is holding some data. So address 1 DCD is the directive to declare a constant, and that constant I have initialized to 0. Okay, DCD 0x0. So here in this program, address 1 is again 4000, and since it is pointing to a data, since it is holding a data, here the address 1 will be address 1 will be 4000, so R0 will be getting 4000 itself. Okay, so that is the difference between loading an address of containing a program and containing a data using the LDR pseudo instruction. Next is the ADR pseudo instruction. So here, unlike LDR, there is no setting of the least significant bit to 1. So whether it is pointing to a data or a program, it is going to load the same address into the destination register. So for ADR, the address value of a program code is loaded into a register without setting the LSB automatically. So as an example, here ADR R0 comma address 1. So here note that there is no necessity of putting the equal to sign. So syntax of ADR does not require this equal to sign. And see here address 1 is pointing to a memory location, a memory location holding a program, some instruction move R0 comma R1. So here ADR R0 comma address 1, this instruction is going to set R0 to 0x4000 only, 4000. So here LDR obtains the immediate data by putting the data in the program code and uses a PC relative load to get the data into the register. So I have been explaining, mentioning about the addressing modes. So addressing modes are nothing but the way in which you calculate the address of the memory location to be accessed in case of memory access instructions. So here the LDR actually puts the or loads the data from the memory location by using some PC relative addressing mode. Okay. ADR tries to generate the immediate value by adding or subtracting instructions based on the current program counter value. So here ADR instruction adds a signed 21-bit immediate value to the value of the program counter that fetched this instruction and then writes the result to a general purpose register. So because of this, you cannot by using ADR instruction, you cannot you load a memory location which is very farther away from the current instruction. Okay, so these two instructions, LDR and ADR, help you load a 32-bit immediate data using a single instructions, which is otherwise not possible. So the next topic is instruction barrier instructions and memory barrier instructions. So these are instructions when the memory system of the Cortex M3 becomes more and more complex. Cortex M3 supports a number of barrier instructions. So we'll be looking at 3 barrier instructions, that is 2 of them are memory barrier instructions, that is DMB and DSB. DMB stands for data memory barrier and DSB stands for data synchronization barrier, and the other one is the instruction barriers instruction, that is ISB. ISB stands for instruction synchronization barrier. Before we go for these instructions, first we'll look into why these instructions are required. So these instructions find their need especially when you are having two memory accesses, that is in case of a processor coprocessor environment, that is when the coprocessor of the main processor is also being used and there are two memory accesses happening simultaneously, that is maybe one from the coprocessor and one by the processor, and the processor is trying to access the same memory region that you are trying to access. Maybe that is one case where these barrier instructions come into picture. The other scenario you can think of is a memory access operation is taking place and an interrupt occurs. So this interrupt which will go for executing the interrupt service routine also requires a memory access. So this is another scenario, or a memory access operation happens and a system control operation is also taking place. In such cases also barrier instructions come into picture. So this is to avoid the ambiguity between accessing the instruction. So if these memory barrier instructions are not used, then race conditions would occur. Okay. So to understand this race condition, assume that there is a program wherein the first two instruction is a memory access instruction. Okay, and you are trying to access or store some data into some memory location, and the third instruction requires the previous two instructions should be to complete. Okay, that means before executing the third instruction, you should ensure that the first two instructions are complete, because the third instruction requires the data that is accessed or stored in the previous two instructions. Okay, unless that the third instruction cannot continue with its execution. So by chance the previous two memory instructions are buffered and take a few clock cycles to execute, and before that it has finished execution, if the third instruction starts execution, then if it tries to access that memory location, then it would be getting a wrong value. Okay, and it would account for a invalid memory access. So in that case, it is to be ensured that the first two instructions are executed and then only the processor should go for the execution of the third instruction. So this is one place where these memory barrier instructions have to be used. So memory barrier instruction will ensure that the previous instruction is completed so that the third instruction can go on with a valid memory access. Okay. So this is a simple example that I have given. where this memory access instruction can be used. Sorry, memory barrier instruction can be used. So this is what I meant. DMB is very useful for multiprocessor systems, that is in case of a processor coprocessor environment. For example, tasks running on separate processors might use a shared memory to communicate with each other. So the processor and the coprocessor may be making use of the same memory for memory access operations. In these environments, the order of memory access to the shared memory can be very important. So here, as I've told you, if the same memory region is accessed by both the processor and the coprocessor, then the order in whether the processor has to do first or the coprocessor has to do the memory access operation first, this order is very important, because maybe the data in that region is required, the old data is required by one of them and the updated data is required by the other one. So if suppose the coprocessor requires the updated data, and by chance if the coprocessor is accessing first, then it will be getting the old data only. So this will account for invalid memory access. So in that case, DMB instructions can be inserted between accesses to the shared memory to ensure that the memory access sequence is exactly the same as expected. Okay, and the DSP and the ISB, that is data synchronization barrier and instruction synchronization barrier instructions, can be important for self-modifying code. This is with respect to the program code. For example, if a program changes its own program code, the next executed instruction should be based on the updated program. So unless that code is updated, the next instruction should not be executed. So this can be taken care by this DSB and ISB instructions. DSB is pertaining to data and ISB is pertaining to instructions. However, since the processor is pipelined, the modified instruction location might have already been fetched. So using DSP and then ISB can ensure that the modified program code is fetched again. Okay, because the program counter will be already holding the address of the next instruction to be executed. So it would have been the next instruction would have been fetched already. So by having this DSB and ISB instructions will ensure that the previous instruction code in the program code is updated, and then only it will go for the execution of the next instruction. So the DMB instruction DMB is the mnemonic which stands for data memory barrier. So this ensures that all memory accesses are completed before new memory access is committed. So as I have told, suppose first two instructions are memory access instructions and third one is also a memory access instruction. But the third instruction requires the previous two memory access instruction to complete, because it requires the updated data from the previous two instructions. Now in that case, between the second instruction and the third instruction, you can place this DMB, that is data memory barrier. So this instruction ensures that all the memory accesses previous to this DMB instruction are completed before a new memory access is committed. Okay, so third instruction is a new memory access instruction. So between the second instruction and the third instruction, you have to place this DMB such that previous memory access instructions are completed, and then only it will go for the execution of the third instruction. Next is DSB. This is the mnemonic which stands for data synchronization barrier. So this ensures that all memory accesses are completed before next instruction is executed. So if you read this, the first DMB description for the DMB instruction and DSB instruction seems to be the same. For DMB, it ensures that all memory accesses are completed before new memory access is committed. And for DSB, it says that it ensures that all memory access are completed before next instruction is executed. So there is a slight difference here if you note carefully. In DMB, first two instructions in my example, for using DMB, the scenario should be first two instructions are memory access instructions and third instruction is also a memory access instruction. Okay. So in that case, when the third instruction requires the first two instructions to be completed, then between the second and the third instruction, we will place a DMB. Okay. Now for DSB, the scenario is first two instructions are memory access instructions and the third instruction is a normal instruction. Normal instruction means it could be any data transfer instruction or data processing instruction, anything. Okay, not a memory access instruction but any normal instruction. So in that case, this normal instruction requires the first two memory access instructions to be completed. Maybe the first two memory access instructions are loading some data from the memory into the register. So the third instruction requires the first two instructions to be completed because it requires the updated data from the previous instruction. Okay, so in that case, DSB is used. Between the second instruction and the third instruction, DSB instruction is to be placed. So note here, DMB is when the first two instructions are also memory access instruction and the third instruction also is a memory access instruction. We place a DMB between second instruction and third instruction. In case of DSB, first two instructions are memory access instructions and the third instruction is any normal instruction apart from memory access instruction. In that case, the DSB instruction is placed between the second and the third instruction. Next one is instruction barrier instruction. The mnemonic is ISB. ISB means instruction synchronization barrier. So this flushes the pipeline and ensures that all previous instructions are completed before executing new instructions. So this is with regard to the program code. So here this flushes the pipeline, that is it ensures that all the instructions before this instruction, so wherever you place this ISB instruction, instruction synchronization barrier instruction, wherever you place this, it ensures that all the instructions previous to this line are completed before going for the execution of the next instruction. Okay, so it actually flushes the pipeline. Whatever instructions are buffered in the pipeline, it ensures that all of them are completed, completely executed before it goes for execution of the next instruction. So note the difference here. In case of DMB and DSB instructions, these two instructions ensure that the memory access instruction previous to this instruction are completed before going for the third instruction, which is memory access in case of DMB and some normal operation in case of DSB. Whereas the ISB instruction ensures that all other instructions, that is not memory access instructions, are taken care by this DMB and DSB. Whereas all other instructions, it ensures, ISB ensures that all other instructions are completed execution. Okay, have completed their execution. Now DMB, as I have told you, this comes into picture for multiprocessor systems. Multiprocessor systems means maybe your CPU is accessing doing one memory access operation, and It could be that some other controller is doing a direct memory access, that is without the intervention of the CPU, that is DMA. DMA controller is responsible for doing direct memory access, okay, without the intervention of the CPU. So in that case, this DMB instruction will come into picture. So these three instructions are used mainly when the memory system is a complex scenario.
Thank you.